People on the spiritual journey give their power away way too easily, and we do it super frequently, especially if you're anything like me. I've been doing this a lot today. In fact, today's been my day of learning not to, because it's all come and hit me like a steam train, much like it should. You know, the universe is kind and it's teaching us lessons, but sometimes the lessons can be hard to learn. Here's 5 ways that I found in my life that I give my power away to situations and to people way too easily, and it's very likely that it'll be the same for you. So there's lots of ways that we give away our power. What do I really mean by giving away our power? Well, I would consider our power, our seat of power in our consciousness, being connected to that nice feeling state of our body, what Abraham Hicks might call the vortex, what we might call the source energy inside of ourselves. Again, what we might say in a yogic term is the being. Remember, these terms aren't spiritual, we're a human being, not a human thinking. And the beingness, the feeling of our body, that being feeling is our power. And when we lose our power, I would say the action of losing our power is us leaving that state of being, that nice fresh state that yoga will put you into, or that we can, if we do a lot of meditation work, we can naturally find inside of ourselves just by relaxing the mind and dropping our attention into the feeling of our body. But we give our power away a lot, and I've got 5 reasons as to what we might be doing and maybe why we're doing it, and perhaps we shouldn't do it because it's awfully silly and we only end up hurting ourselves. So the first way that we give our power away way too easily, especially for me, is people pleasing. Let's think about this in a family situation. For example, because I had somebody mention this on YouTube and I've forgotten your name, I'm sorry. Yeah, so it was a nice comment and said, aren't I meant to be helping my family? Aren't I meant to be making them happy? And I think my response was, your only responsibility is to yourself. Make sure that you make yourself happy, you know, connect with that feeling of your body, because happiness is there. It's your birthright to feel happy, to feel joyous, to feel naturally stable in ourselves. And whenever we go and put our fingers in the pies of like our family members, for example, who generally are quite unhappy sometimes, it's not our responsibility to build up their happiness. If they want to be unhappy, they're going to be unhappy. But if we let their unhappiness then affect our happiness, and we get so involved in their unhappiness that we miss our own natural joy, then we've given our power away, haven't we, to that external situation. And I get it, it's not easy, especially as you start going through the spiritual awakening and you start changing a lot. Your parents and your family members don't necessarily. They will begin to change with you through time, but it's not an easy path, and sometimes the hardest thing to do is change around your family members, and to cut those karmic links, in a sense, to cut the conditioning that they've put onto you, and to act in a totally different way. Well, what if I didn't get involved in that family scenario? What if I didn't feel unhappy? What if I didn't try and mess up my mood by going down to their level, you know? Well, it might seem strange to your family members, but you're then protecting that energy and you're keeping your power here, where it should be, the only place you can find it. The second way, excuse me, that we give our power away too easily is by seeking external validation. The only way to truly validate ourselves is by feeling the sense of our body, you know, or telling ourselves that we're great. But we know that telling ourselves that we're great is quite a limited way of doing it. We know that there's natural validation here in the beingness of our body, the feeling of our consciousness, the feeling of our body. There's natural validation. So we lose our power if we then leave that feeling of our body, go into the mind and start saying, oh, I think I'd like to impress Susie today so that I get my good feeling sense. It's neediness really, isn't it? You're basically saying to the external world by giving your power away, give me that which I'm not giving myself. Give me this validation, please, so that I know that I'm okay, because I'm incredibly insecure because I'm not validating myself. There's one thing that helped me with that, and it's just this simple fact. You are divine. Somebody thinks you're good enough. You're validated by God, the universe, spirit, you know? What validation are you seeking externally? Because maybe you're not good enough for Susie, Sally, Martin, John, but you are good enough for the only one in your life that matters, and that's you. So it's about the relationship we have with ourselves, isn't it? And it's about not giving our power away to the mind or to external situations by seeking that validation externally, because the only place you're going to find it, and that it will last, because it will be fleeting if you get it externally, is inside. You're the one in control, right? So don't give away your power too easily. Number 3. Angry, nasty, negative people saying nasty, horrible things to you. If you let that affect you emotionally, you've given your power away to them and that situation. Now, hear me out. It's totally natural, I feel, because I've never not had a response like this, but it's totally natural to take the hit the first time, right? There's an emotional response if someone's being a dick to you. It hurts. But that's fine. The hurt can then be the end of it. It's if we carry on the rest of our day thinking about it, then we've lost all of our power, haven't we, to that situation. It's like really saying, it's like letting the other person that's treated you in a crappy way win. Now, of course, it's not a competition, but their intention when they treat you like crap is to make you feel like crap. And yes, whilst it may hurt at the first instance, that can be the end of it if we then connect with the feeling of our body afterwards. Because there's no need to hold on to the anger in the feeling of the body, because it's so nice, and holding on to the anger just pollutes the feeling of the body. Holding on to whatever they said and then creating arguments in our head about why they shouldn't have said that to me is us losing all of our power and our energy, and it's exhausting. That's just one way that I've found for me that I give away my power way too easily. At least I used to. Today's been a big day for me in this. It's like I've had 5 different things to show me. I think it's why the video's happening. Today's been this day for me to encounter every single way that the human system might give its power away to others. And I've done it and failed at the first instance, but I got better through the day, and then I began to realise that that's what this video's about. I was going through this so that I could speak on this video about these things in hopefully a way that resonates. The 4th way that we might be giving our power away way too easily is by trying to control others. Now, we have the negative connotation of trying to control others, don't we? Have like manipulation and such, and that's not a good fun way to do life anyway, but sometimes we get caught up in it. I know that from my past. And then there's a more nice feeling sense of control, one with a control with a better intention, meaning, how do we do this in our lives? Well, let me give you an example. In my case, for clients, I'm not attached, and nor should I ever be attached to anybody else's, for example, my clients' growth. It's their responsibility to grow. I just have to give the gift. If I get then because I want them to do so well and I want them to change their lives, if I then put all of that my potential for my happiness, my power in their growth, which is something I don't have any control over, then I don't have any control over my power, my feeling sense. Because if they don't grow, I feel horrible inside. It's not my responsibility for them to grow, you see. But this is a nice control, if you see. It's you trying to, and we notice this in our lives sometimes, like we want to see the best for people. And that's fine to have as an intention, but if we then feel crap about ourselves because they're not taking on the information. We know this in friendships, right? And in our family sense, if they're not taking in the information that I've given them, they don't have to, but if we want them to and we keep pushing it and we get attached to them changing because of it, that's control, isn't it? It's control with a nice intention, but we've given all of our power away, because as soon as they don't change, we feel crap. It's about non-attachment, and it's about not giving our power away through these thinly veiled, because the ego does this very cleverly, thinly veiled control things. I hope that made sense. 5, the final way that I've noticed that we give our power away too easy is wallowing in self-pity. Let's say somebody does something nasty to you. Let's say you get bullied, or let's say just somebody sets you off on a right old wobbler because they said something mean. Well, in the first instance, I know I've mentioned this, we can feel the pain of that, and that's natural, right? But it's this bit, the wallowing in self-pity afterwards, that is 1, exhausting, 2, implies that we've gone upstairs into the mind and we're suffering our experience, and we've given all of our power away to the mind. And we know once the mind gets going and it's got some momentum in one negative direction, it will keep proliferating in that direction until 40 minutes later we're there in this horrible toxic state of being because we've given all of our power away to the mind and the external situation, blaming the external situation for why I feel this way. But really, we need to take responsibility at the first moment and not give our power away to the mind and then continue to suffer throughout the day because of what's happened. But this is us giving our power away, isn't it? And it's exhausting, and it doesn't make us feel good. And I've noticed myself doing this. I do it less and less, but today I found myself doing it. Because I teach yoga at a university. I'll just tell you my personal story, why not? I teach yoga at Southampton University in the Students' Union. And somebody put a horrible comment on one of my photos saying, "Come and join my yoga class." And it hurt. And then I went through my day constantly like, why on earth would anybody say something nasty? I've not done anything to them. They've just seen this photo and they've just put a nasty comment, and this has really affected me. But if you see in my situation, I've given all of my power away to that person. It doesn't matter if they say something nasty. Well, it might to you, but if it does matter to you, you've given your power away. You've put your potential feel-good factor in other people, in external situations, and therefore you can't control it. If there's one thing we should be able to control, that's our own happiness, right? I hope this video helps. If you wish, down below you can sign up for a guided meditation if you're going through an awakening experience. It's not really a guided meditation, it's a breathing practice. It will instill this nice feeling of bliss and ecstasy in your body through a pranayama practice. It's free, you're more than welcome to sign up, you just have to enter your email, that's down below. Of course, if you wish to engage in the sadhana that I've been engaging in and you want to be taught by a fully qualified teacher, you're more than welcome to sign up down below for the Awakening one-to-one coaching. I can't guarantee you a spot, there's very limited spots available because it's taking up a lot of time, and I'm very grateful for it, but you can apply down below, it's free. I'll have a look at your application if you wish to do so. Finally, if you're going through an awakening experience, perhaps a Kundalini awakening or just a more gradual awakening experience, you don't fit in with your friends anymore, then you're more than welcome to join us in our free community. It's on Facebook. It's free, you have to sign up though again, and the link is down below. When we give our power away, we put all of our potential for happiness in the external world, don't we? It's almost like the external world can totally affect and hijack our emotional field, and that's not the way it should be. We should be the one in control. We should become so, I'm going to swear because I love it, we should, because one of my teachers said this to me, he said, we can become so unfuckwithable in our consciousness. Here's another way of putting it, if you like the yoga terminology, and this is something that I came up with. We can become so deeply rooted in the witness space in our body that we just allow the Shakti to play. So what does that mean? really, in real world terms, we can become so unfuckwithable because we're the witness, we're not this body, we're not the experiences that are happening to us as the witness, we're just the witness to them, aren't we? So we can become so deeply rooted in that witness space that an explosion could go off in front of us, or even in our consciousness, some absolute mad anger could go off, and we're still unaffected by it. This is the true power. This is the real giving the power away. As soon as we leave, perceivably, that witness space inside of us, we never ever leave it, but we do tend to think we're the actor on the screen rather than the projector in the cinema, you know? I hope this makes sense. If it makes sense, great. If it doesn't, and I just sound crazy to you, that's fine. That's fine. But for those of you that know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And I hope for those of you that did understand that this video helped.